U.S. lawmakers are accusing the Department of Justice of improperly hiding key names inside millions of pages of Jeffrey Epstein documents.
I'm 16 years old.
16.
17, 14 years old.
This is me.
This was me.
This is me when I met Jeffrey Epstein.
This is me when I met Jeffrey Epstein.
Newly reviewed files, complaints from victims, claims involving the FBI, and a political clash inside Congress are now fueling fresh controversy around one of the most disturbing criminal cases in modern history. And now, lawmakers from both political parties say some powerful individuals may still be protected inside these documents. Here's everything we know so far. Before diving into the newest controversy, it's important to understand why these files matter so much. Jeffrey Epstein was a wealthy financier who was convicted of sex crimes involving underage girls. For years, Epstein maintained connections with politicians, celebrities, royalty, and business leaders around the world. In 2008, he received a highly controversial plea deal in Florida that allowed him to avoid federal charges and serve limited jail time. That deal later sparked national outrage. In 2019, Epstein was arrested again on federal sex trafficking charges. Just weeks later, he died in jail while awaiting trial in what authorities ruled a suicide. Though his death remains widely debated, Epstein's longtime associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, was later convicted of sex trafficking and sentenced to prison. But Epstein's case left one huge unanswered question: who else may have been involved? That question is at the center of today's controversy. In response to public pressure, Congress passed the Epstein Files Transparency Act, also known as EFTA. The law was designed to force the government to release documents related to Epstein's network, while still protecting victims' identities. The law passed with overwhelming bipartisan support and was signed into law by President Donald Trump. Since December, the Department of Justice has released approximately 3 million pages of documents connected to Epstein investigations. These include FBI interview records, flight logs, witness statements, internal investigative documents, email communications. However, many of these files were heavily redacted, meaning names and information were blacked out, and that's where the new controversy begins. On Monday, members of Congress were allowed to begin reviewing unredacted versions of the Epstein files. Representatives from both political parties participated, including Democratic Representative Ro Khanna, Republican Representative Thomas Massie, Democratic Representative Jamie Raskin, Republican Representative Lauren Boebert. Their reactions raised immediate alarm. Khanna said the Justice Department may not be complying with transparency requirements. He claimed the files were already scrubbed earlier this year by the FBI, before lawmakers ever saw them. Khanna argued that if the FBI removed names beforehand, it could prevent the public from learning whether powerful individuals connected to Epstein committed crimes. Lawmakers also complained about how they were allowed to view the documents. Representative Jamie Raskin criticized the limited access, saying it made a full review nearly impossible. According to Raskin, lawmakers were given access to just 4 computers located in a satellite office to examine more than 3 million documents. Raskin said at that pace, it could take Congress roughly 7 years to review the entire file collection. He argued that such limitations could amount to what he described as a cover-up. Republican Representative Lauren Boebert also raised serious concerns. After reviewing the documents, she stated that she believes some individuals named in the files appear to be directly implicated in Epstein's activities. However, she did not publicly identify any specific individuals. Her statement added bipartisan weight to concerns that the documents may contain explosive information. Representative Thomas Massie said lawmakers discovered a document listing approximately 20 names connected to Epstein investigations, but nearly every name was blacked out. The only visible names were Epstein himself and Ghislaine Maxwell. Massie said some of those hidden names could potentially belong to individuals connected to Epstein's criminal activities. He posted a screenshot of the redacted document online and demanded an explanation from the Department of Justice. Representative Khanna agreed, saying the redactions appeared inappropriate and may violate the transparency law. Massie also flagged another controversial document. The document appeared to show an email exchange between Epstein and an unidentified individual discussing what was described as a torture video and travel between China and the United States. Massey suggested that the message may have been sent by a foreign royal figure and demanded that the identity be revealed. He also raised concerns that the name of a well-known retired CEO was missing from an FBI document listing potential Epstein co-conspirators. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche responded publicly to the accusations. Blanche said the redacted portion of the email referenced by Massey was simply an email address, which must legally remain hidden under privacy laws. He also stated that the foreign figure mentioned by Massey already appears elsewhere in the files without redactions. Blanche criticized the accusations and insisted the Justice Department is not hiding information. Within hours, he also said the name of the retired CEO mentioned by Massey had been uncovered, noting that the individual already appears elsewhere in the document release. Blanche emphasized that the Department of Justice is concealing only information required by law. While lawmakers debate transparency, Epstein survivors and their attorneys have raised a completely different concern. They say some released documents contain sensitive information, including email addresses, personal details, images where victims might be identified. Survivors issued a public statement calling the disclosures outrageous and warning they could re-traumatize victims. The Department of Justice responded by removing flagged files and said the errors were caused by technical or human mistakes. Representative Kana argues the corrections came too late. He claims the FBI may have redacted documents before sending them to Justice Department leadership. According to Kana, the transparency law required the FBI to provide unredacted files so that the Justice Department could decide what needed to remain private. Representative Massey also criticized the handling of the documents, saying federal agencies may need to conduct a deeper review of the release process. The Epstein files are significant for several reasons. They could potentially reveal the scope of Epstein's network, whether powerful figures participated in crimes, whether government agencies properly investigated Epstein in the past, how victims were treated during investigations. The case has become a symbol of public concern about elite accountability and justice system transparency. Lawmakers say they plan to continue reviewing the files and pushing for further releases. Additional legal challenges and congressional investigations could follow if disputes continue. Meanwhile, victims' advocates are urging the government to balance transparency with privacy protections. The Epstein case continues to spark political, legal, and public controversy years after his death. With millions of documents still under review, new details could emerge at any time. If you want updates as this story develops, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Let me know in the comments what you think about the release of the Epstein files. Should everything be made public, or should privacy protections come first? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.